we've had this sort of leap into, even from 2023, right, in 2022. 2022, I think we were all in the realm of they're going to fight us now.
Yeah.
Like, it's coming. The fight's coming. And the fight for me at that point in time was like, they're literally going to try and take our Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They
still probably will.
Right. Are like, so that's a good place to start. Are we at the, right? Because coming out of 2024, you got the feeling like, no, we're beyond the they fight you stage to now they join us. All the rhetoric there was now they join us. Are we moving out of the fight you stage? If we get if we got a Trump or an RFK presidency, are we going beyond the they fight you stage?
Yeah, if we get a Trump or RFK presidency, the whole shift in Bitcoin and crypto will completely change. If we get another Democrat in there, it'll just be another 4 years of the same, and it'll just be us trugging along, having to like hope for the best with the U.S. regulations.
Right, I mean, we've had.
It's a shame, but I mean, you can see a huge growth in Bitcoin become like the center of the U.S. world again. You could see a lot of cool, really good Bitcoin companies and do a lot of really cool things, and you could see a lot. That's really what needs to change, though.
What exactly are you investing in that you see would benefit from a new administration with regulatory clarity and eliminating choke point 2.0? Because that's the little bit of time I've spent in the industry seems to be the number one thumb on the scale for progress, right? Where you can't even compete.
The inability for a crypto company to even get a bank account is definitely, that'll like stop overnight, and that'll be a huge difference. But we also need like regulations when it comes to building out different blockchain technologies that have things to do with like doing real world assets on chain, because I really see like if we could, for example, do like tokenized real estate, but it's not in the way that you think. It's more of like if you do like mortgage type products, and we need to see more of these type of insurance products and all these different things that have a lot of middlemen and cost us a lot of money. So we're investing in a lot of that. We're investing in like decentralized like hacker marketplaces. I'm very into AI when it comes to like using crypto as economic engines, and also I'm trying to figure out a way to solve the truth with crypto. Like you have the popularity contest of the algorithm right now of like Twitter and all of social media, the shock and awe, and the algorithm just promotes to the top the best thing that people want to see, not necessarily the truth. But if there's a way that we can promote the truth as opposed to like not what's popular, using some like token mechanism, I don't know the answer to this yet, but I'm just thinking a lot every day on this stuff.
Yeah. So how do you, like, as a investor in new tech, how do you evaluate that investment return versus the ROI on Bitcoin? Right? I've always had that problem, right? I would say when I look at the world of possible investments versus buying more Bitcoin, at this point in time in history, it's hard for me to justify anything else.
Yeah.
So what goes on in Charlie's head that he's saying, I'm interested in all these new things, this new frontier, stuff that may go to zero. Like what is it about you and your personality that makes you want to go to that edge?
I'm just not
when you're sitting here with Bitcoin.
I'm antsy, and I'm not. I can't just like sit still, and unless I could think of a really good Bitcoin startup idea that hasn't been done already by much smarter people than I want to like. I still feel like the technology behind Bitcoin, that Satoshi talked about that a lot, and he even experimented himself with other ideas. So I feel like there's something there, and I still want to spend a lot of time sacrificing. And you're right, a lot of it does go to zero. But some of the stuff that I did invest in and get involved with got sold and made a bunch of money and did do well. So like even 5 out of every 100 companies that I invest in gets sold. So my strike rate is only 5%, but that's still pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So for you, is it safe to say you like shiny objects? You're
Definitely
like, this is new, this is interesting. I mean, that's essentially what got you into Bitcoin early on, long before I even knew it existed, right? Have you always had that like, I'm looking for the newest?
I wasn't looking for Bitcoin, and I'm not looking for anything else. Like, I don't actively sit here like, and because that's a fool's errand. I know people who are pitching technologies to me all the time that are the next Bitcoin. You know, I figured out a way to like take old computer chips and make them operate at 10 times. It's like crazy. But I don't know any of those industries well enough. Neither did I know Bitcoin. And neither did I know finance or technology. Bitcoin was so new, but so easy to grasp for someone who knew nothing, that I felt that this has to be the future, because like everyone can understand it. And that's why I get trouble a little bit, that people still don't understand it. But I'll change that. So
you've talked a little bit before we started recording today. You were talking about your next step in education. Obviously, you're writing the book. You're going to tell your story. I know you've been doing film, but tell us a little bit about your plans, which I guess are early stage in regards to educating people about this space.
I was just thinking of putting together this. Putting together these courses that I've always kind of done for people anyways, where people will ask me to like sit with them for a couple hours. And I noticed that over the years that people have offered to like pay me to sit with them for a couple hours and teach them something. And I noticed that when people do that, it's not usually a lot of money, that they come out of it on the other side and they really take care to like pay attention. I did some research, and no one's really doing this. There are no really good teachers who know this as well as I do, who can use history. And so I figure, and I don't want to like just launch another startup with a technology that could go to zero with a token. So I want to provide value to people immediately. So I felt, why don't I do this? I can start something. I could just simply have 10, 15 seats in a Zoom room and start teaching classes every day like I used to.
Interesting. Well, Charlie, before we wrap up, I want to thank you for educating us on the Bitcoin history. There's so much there that I think, especially new people coming into the industry, have not heard. Hopefully it gave people a new perception of the roots of Bitcoin, where it started from, how that might be different than where it's going.
Yeah, I think we definitely intrigued a lot of people on this show.
If you were to look into Bitcoin's future, is there anything you're concerned about that might be being left behind?
I feel like not enough people are custodying their own Bitcoin and using and learning how to like. I think as long as you keep your Bitcoin on an exchange, you're always going to look at it as a speculative asset. So I know you trust Coinbase, but if you keep it on Coinbase, it's always going to be something that you trade. Whereas if you get a physical hardware device or understand how to do paper wallets or some sort of like cold storage, then you'll look at Bitcoin as more of like a longer term asset. Your like whole mentality will change. And it's like, I have friends that are Bitcoin investors. Like they tell my friend, oh, Bitcoin all these years. So for a gift, I got him a beautiful gold hardware wallet. That wasn't even a hardware wallet. It was just a gold plated like credit card looking thing that had engraved the private key on the device itself. And as anyone who knows it, unless you have the private key that you peel it off, you can't get this Bitcoin. And he was like, thanks, Charlie. I don't even understand what this is. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it really took me back.
Right.
And so that's one of the things I'm going to teach people is like, I'm going to just ship them a hardware wallet and help you set it up and explain to you why that's important.
Right. Yeah, that's really important. We've got to make sure that enough people move from the dollar value of their Bitcoin to how many Bitcoin have I accumulated.
Yeah.
And I think the moving to that hardware wallet scenario where you're putting coins in cold storage changes that mentality.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest ByteFederal ATM and turn your cash to coin. ByteFederal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.